All right, day 6 is in the books at the Australian Open. A little bit, maybe more of a quiet day. Things are really starting to quiet down as the draw gets smaller and smaller as players lose and more players lose and people are knocked out. But we had some good night session matches. So I'm going to recap them. Mainly Djokovic beating Dimitrov as expected. But we'll see how he looked. I saw some hampering there from his hamstring for sure. And Murray goes out of the tournament, arguably the star of the Australian Open so far. Maybe not even arguably, like definitely the star of the Australian Open so far. So we're going to break down those two matches and look forward and preview the fourth round matches, which is usually where it really starts to get spicy at the majors. I've been saying that for 6 years now. We're going to get into it. Here's the slice. Let's go. Welcome back, people. Thanks for subscribing. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed already, and if you're brand new, welcome. I'm Steven. This is The Slice. This is the best place on YouTube and the internet for tennis fans to get content covering tournaments, match previews, tournament breakdowns, and interviews. I've interviewed Casper Ruud, Felix Auger-Aliassime, Denis Shapovalov, Bianca Andreescu in the last 6 months. And keep it locked here and subscribe here if you want to see stuff like that. But yeah, big day, another big day at the Australian Open. I would say the most quiet day we've had so far, day 6. Not a lot of super juicy matches, in my opinion. But yeah, Djokovic Dimitrov started off there. Great match. Djokovic comes through as expected with some pain, as you can see. He looked very relieved to get through that one, I guess, in 3 sets. It could have, the first set was like 70 minutes and could have gone either way. I think Djokovic served for it, and then Dimitrov broke back and then went to a tiebreaker, and each guy had set points in the tiebreaker. But yeah, just a nice match. Like, I remember I was looking at their head-to-head. I think it was 9-1 before this match, and now it's 10-1. But the one time that Dimitrov won was back in the 2013 Madrid, I think, like semifinals or something like that. And I watched a bit of that match. I watched the extended highlights last night. And it was just, awesome tennis. And they both look so much younger, especially Dimitrov there. But just great tennis because, like, Djokovic has his style, obviously. And Dimitrov has his style, and they're contrasting, but they're both just insane athletes, both as good as it gets as athletes on the ATP Tour, super with their movement especially. So that was a fun match last night, even though it was 3 sets. And yeah, one thing I did notice is I could tell that Djokovic was hampered in his movement. Sometimes when he went out to the right to his forehand, I noticed where he was really getting stretched, and usually you might see him do an open stance slide and like slice it, or open stance forehand topspin, and I saw him just kind of like run through it and then have to take a few steps to stop. So I do think he is literally hampered by his hamstring, and I think that it's not at 100% still, but he was able to beat Dimitrov in 3 sets on a not 100% leg. So that kind of tells the story of where Djokovic is at down under. I think he's at like 39 matches won straight here in Australia without losing. The last time Djokovic just lost in Australia was to Hyung Chung at the 2018 Australian Open, I'm pretty sure. You guys remember Hyung Chung? We do. That was insane. Quadzilla is what I call them. And that's a long time ago. So Djokovic is the undisputed king still of Australia. And we're going to look at the draw next. That was a good test for Djokovic. His hamstring held up. He held up enough to get him through. RBA versus Murray was another night match. And yeah, that was a good match. It was kind of a weird handshake, I thought. A little bit salty, a little bit, I don't know, not there was no love there at the net. Although I don't know if there's any beef, but 4-set match, great. Murray comes in, wins the second set in a tiebreaker, but obviously RBA just had a little more left in the tank, a little bit more sauce today or last night, and was able to bring it through. But without a doubt, Andy Murray was the star of the 2023 Australian Open so far. The first week star, the star of the first week, let's say. 2 insane 5-set matches, 1 4-set match, but 2 5-set match wins. The second one, the one against Kokkinakis, being one of the all-time classics at the Australian Open, which we'll remember forever, won't we? So yeah, Andy Murray can hang, can feel good about this, and I think even he's going to go live ATP rankings. I'm going to look at the live rankings here. I think Murray's probably got to be moving up. 3rd round. Let's see where he's at. Andy Murray, only 4 spots. Guess he's only moved up 4 spots. So not huge, but it is a grind to move up at all. So isn't it? So he will be, the way he's playing there, if he can keep that level up, or the way he's played at the Australian, if he can keep that level up, I do think he's going to keep moving up the rankings, and he'll be, especially in the 3-set matches, he's just doing the things well that he wasn't earlier. His serve is looking great. Every part of his game is looking like top ATP level. He's just got to like put it together week after week, and that's what he always talks about. And I think he's going to start doing that more because he looks physically great and his game is awesome. So that's good. So let's look at, why don't we take a look here at all the results from last night. So day 6 results. We had Pliskova getting through 6-4, 6-2. Bencic over Georgie. Demonauer over Bonzi. 3 seeds there, win on Rod Laver Arena. So Demonauer versus Djokovic that's going to be a real tough one. That's not going to be like Dimitrov where you're going to get a lot of unforced errors if you're Djokovic. You're going to have to physically grind unless Demonauer plays a terrible match. So that's going to be, I think, the real big test for Djokovic's hamstring. Lynette gets through, beats Alexandrova, upset in the late night match, which I'm not sure how many people stayed around for that. Donna Vekic through 6-2, 6-2. She's having a great tournament into round 4. Very great tournament. Rublev versus Dan Evans. This was an awesome match. I watched this. Super high level quality. Rublev just a little bit too much, I think, at this point in the career for Dan Evans, the 5th seed. So Rublev, I think people are kind of forgetting about Rublev and his chances potentially at this major. So he's, I think, the quarterfinal opponent for, we'll see it in here, or would it be Runa? Or no, I think it would be Rublev. So for Djokovic. So we'll see about that. Sabalenka's still moving through. Like, I think she's my favorite still to win it. Holger Rune, quietly, nice moves through there. Never looked in danger against Hugo Humbert. It's crazy how solid Holger Rune is. I was talking about this last night. Literally last year, Holger Rune was trying to, we did our interview and he snuck into the Australian Open with his ranking, lost in the first round, was playing challengers after that. And now he's 9th seed, a dark horse set to win this entire title, and someone who we all think could really challenge Djokovic in their match. So that's just an insane year turnaround. And I tweeted out yesterday, if it wasn't for Carlos, I think Holger Rune would be like the biggest story in tennis. Just so incredible year still, incredible player. Ben Shelton beats Popyrin in 3 sets. That's a little bit surprising because the entire crowd was for Popyrin. But people are saying that the Ben Shelton college experience probably helped him fend off the animosity and just thrive in it and get the win. JJ Wolf takes care of his fellow compatriot Michael Mmoh in 3 sets. Amazing tournament for Michael Mmoh. Caroline Garcia moves through in 3. Not as easy, but she's through to round 4. She's still one of my favorites to win the title on the women's. Zhang takes out Volley Nets. What a tennis name. Volley Nets. Great tournament for her as well. 2 Czechs play. Fervitova takes out Vondrousova. And out on court 3, the disrespect, in my opinion, Tommy Paul versus Jensen Brooksby. Brooksby was not fully healthy, I don't think, in this match, but Tommy Paul played like a beast. And those 2 guys, the skill in which they wield their rackets is, to me, like much higher than, like, I would rather watch that than Popyrin versus Ben Shelton. But that's just me. That's just like it's just cleaner hitting, less power, but more, tactics and skill involved, in my opinion. So that was an awesome match. Tommy Paul, I was saying on Twitter again last night, it's like reasonable that Tommy Paul would reach the semifinals on the bottom half there of the draw, which is crazy. So let's take a look at the draws now. We'll break down the 4th round of the men's, and then we'll go to the women's. So the 4th round frenzy, that's what I've always called it. A lot more open this year than in years past by a long shot. We got Nishioka versus Khachanov in the 4th round. One of those guys is going to be in the quarterfinals. Pretty crazy. Then we got Hurkacz versus Korda. Hurkacz makes sense. Medvedev losing, though, to Korda. So that's going to be a super interesting match. Either guy making it to the quarterfinals is a good result for them. Hurkacz would kind of hope to be there, obviously. But Korda has another big opportunity to upset one of the top 10 seeds. And then we got the match, I think, of the 4th round for sure. Tsitsipas versus Sinner. As I said, it's 4-1 head-to-head right now for Stefanos. And like I've said a couple of times, last year when they played, Stefanos put on an absolute show. But Sinner's got another year. He's stronger, he's bigger, he's older, and that's going to be a tough match, I would expect. So that's a banger of a match. I'm still leaning Tsitsipas, as I still think he's my favorite to come out of the top half. But we'll see. We'll see. Sinner can't have a slow start like he did against Fucsovic. I don't think he's going to win 3 sets on the trot, 6-1, 6-2, 6-0 against a guy like Stefanos Tsitsipas. You know what I mean? Then we got Yuri Lehechka versus Felix Auger-Aliassime. Felix, big favorite in this one to me. I hope he comes out as fantastic bad boy Felix instead of frozen Felix. I would hope if he comes out, plays on his front foot. I think he's got too much sauce for Lehechka, but Lehechka is a great mover and defender, so he can really potentially get Felix on the back foot. But I think what I forget the guy's name, but what Felix's third round, I can literally see what Alex Molcan did so good against Felix was keep balls super like ridiculously deep for the first 2 sets. Like he played amazing tennis, kept the balls deep, and that really kept Felix on the back foot. But I do expect Felix to be okay and get through that one. Rublev versus Rune, another amazing 4th round match. Just crazy good. That's going to be a tough one. Like I do not know who's going to win that. It's going to be a lot of fireworks, a lot of frustration, I think. And that's like a must-see match. So that's going to be great. Wow. Yeah. The 5th seed versus the 9th seed, both incredible baseliners with huge strokes on both sides. Rune's got the better backhand. Rublev's got the better forehand. I think Rune's got the better serve now. Rune's a little bigger. So that's tough. Who do you guys think, Rublev or Rune? I don't know who I'm taking there. Then de Minaur versus Djokovic. Like I said, this is going to be the physical test for Djokovic that he hasn't really had yet as much, but he should still win. But if de Minaur takes that first set, things will get really interesting, I think. So let's see. Shelton versus Wolf. That's crazy. One of those guys will be in the quarterfinals. That is an insane result for either of them. More so for Shelton, but I mean, they're both ranked in live rankings, like top 60, I think. So let's look at that actually. Live ranking, JJ Wolf is up 22 spots to 45. And then Shelton, this is crazy, he's up 24 spots to 65. So yeah, just an incredible tournament for both those guys. Career changing, honestly, especially for whoever wins it. And then we got Tommy Paul versus Bautista Agut. I was at a Tommy Paul versus RBA match in Paris on the little side courts, and Tommy Paul chopped him up. Bautista Agut didn't really play a good match, but I think Tommy has a good chance to win this match. He's fitter, he's younger, more dynamic as a mover at this point in his career, and it's just about being locked in, smart through the whole match and staying focused. Yeah, it's going to be a tough match, but a lot of good matches there in that 4th round. Wow. Is there any bad ones? No. Maybe this one, Nishioka versus Kachanov, is the least exciting, but a lot of fire in that 4th round. Let's look at the women's. The women's, Swiatek versus Rybakina. Insane match. Love that. Wimbledon champ versus US Open and French Open champ. You got to love it. Ostapenko versus Coco Gauff. Again, incredible match. Ostapenko, the drama queen, the fashion queen, versus Coco Gauff, the future. I'm taking Gauff for that, but that's just a great match as well. Another insane match. Pegula versus Krejcikova. Pegula, the worker, the entrepreneur, the grinder, has built her way up to 3rd in the world, and she's just been dominating. Beat Kostyak 6-0, 6-2, and then she's playing Krejcikova, former major champion, French Open, 6-2, 6-3 over Kalyana. Both beat Ukrainian players. Not nice. Anyways, that's going to be a great match as well. Azarenka versus Zhu. Azarenka playing great, coming through. Maybe, remember, she used to be the queen of drama, and she's won the Australian Open a couple of times. So she's taken out Madison Keys, Sophia Kenin. Interesting stuff there. Pliskova versus Zhang next. 2 Chinese women in the 4th round. Hello. Lynette versus Garcia. I'm taking Garcia in that one big time. And then we got a tough one. Wow. Sabalenka versus Bencic. Another great matchup. 2 players who can really crush it on this court. And yeah, that's going to be another tough match. Vekic versus Fervitova. what an opportunity for them to get to the quarterfinals. So the matches of the fourth round of the women's, Sabalenka versus Bencic for sure. Pegula versus Krejcikova, Ostapenko versus Goff, and Swiatek versus Rybakina. I mean, you can't really get better than that. Let's look at the schedule for today. That's awesome. Fourth round frenzy is looking great. Match schedule, day 7, Rod Laver Arena. Wow, we got Legends doubles first on Rod Laver Arena. Okay. Then we got Swiatek versus Rybakina. Great. Hurkacz versus Korda. Great. Tsitsipas versus Sinner. Great. Azarenka versus Zhu. Yeah. Some people were saying that Swiatek versus Rybakina should be the night session starter. Tsitsipas versus Sinner is just as juicy. Neither of those guys are one in the world, but they're just as big of stars in the tennis world, to be honest. So that makes sense to me. Then we got Ostapenko versus Goff on Margaret Court, and then Lehechka versus Felix Auger-Aliassime. So those are the big matches of the night for me, and then a lot of doubles and juniors going on now. So there you have it, people. There you have it. The fourth round frenzy is set. It's going to be great. Yesterday was kind of slow. Okay matches. Djokovic, Dimitrov, RBA versus Murray. Great. Fun tennis. Awesome tennis. Just good matches. And they're just getting less matches total, but they're going to get better. The fourth round is looking great. Like I said, there's some really, really, really good matches on the men's and the women's. So I can't wait to watch them and share my thoughts with you. We will do a live stream soon here, maybe on Felix's next match. If he beats Lehechka, it'll be versus Sinner or Tsitsipas. So it'll be definitely worth doing. But yeah, until then, folks, see you later. Thanks for subscribing. And we will see you on tomorrow back here on the slice.